Coach makes an opening statement, we'll take questions for the student athletes. After questions for the student athletes, we'll circle back with questions for Coach. Carmen and Ryan have the microphones, so raise your hands for questions, and we'll get rolling from there. Coach, the floor is yours. We're ready for an opening statement.
Couldn't be more excited to be here. Really proud of my club, making it through the regional and what they've done this season. Great venue, anticipation of a great crowd, and we know we got a great opponent, so we're excited to be here and to get started. And, again, couldn't be happier to bring my alma mater to a super regional here in Starkville, Mississippi. It's going to be a great experience for us. We expect great baseball and again, just tough competition. And really just respectful of what Mississippi State has done as a team and who they are as a club and their coaching staff. So we're looking forward to the weekend for sure.
Again, just a reminder for the questions for the student athletes, just direct which student athletes you want to answer the question. We'll start here with Brett to the player's right.
Maverick, two long balls in that final game of the regional on Monday. What about your swing is right now?
I just feel like I'm seeing the beach ball up there right now, which is great going into the postseason. Just putting good swings on balls that I know I can drive, and that's the key to hitting. So.
We'll get to Steve here in the middle.
Will, it's been a bit of a whirlwind. You guys play on Monday, get on the plane, you come here, and then your practice gets rained out and you're indoors. How does that kind of impact kind of where you guys are right now, preparation-wise?
Right. It's been an interesting last few days, especially we're in finals season right now, too. I don't know about Maverick, but I took a final this morning. But it's just, it's the life of a student athlete, so we embrace it for sure.
Go to the front row here to the left.
Maverick, before you got here, how aware of the season, or how aware were you about the season Ethan Small was having, Mississippi State pitcher, and now that you know that that's who you're facing tomorrow, what's the scouting report on him? How can you guys get hits against him?
I'd say, I watched good amount of college baseball, so I knew who he was, and he's had a great season, and he's got really good stuff, and he's your typical Friday night guy. I'd say we haven't gone thoroughly through the scouting report yet, but I know he's like 88, 92, pitches up in the zone, can throw out all three pitches for strikes. I think our guys are more than ready to face him. So,
again, questions for the student athletes. We'll get the microphone to you. Raise your hand. Any other questions for the student athletes before we let them go? All right, thanks, fellas. We'll do questions for Coach. Go ahead and lead off here with Brett.
Coach, you had to go to Brendan Beck again in that Monday game. Just how's his arm feeling right now, and what do you think he'll do starting pitching wise with that being the case?
Yeah, we talked about that at length. Whether it would be smarter to kind of move him back a day and flip the rotation some, and he said he felt great and really wants the ball and to lead our team off in a super regional. So we're going to go ahead and let him do that. And we probably were going to monitor him throughout the middle of the week, and if he had felt any recovery need during the middle of the week, we would have flipped the rotation some, but he said he felt good.
Get it to Steve here in the middle, right in front of Coach.
Coach, the experience, you mentioned your alma mater, coaching that. What's it meant for you to be able to kind of get over the hump this year and get back 2 wins from Omaha?
Yeah, that's something that was in our minds. We'd hosted regionals for the last 2 years and hadn't got out of them, and I think at the top of our minds, our kids were really, that was something they wanted to break through, and we talked about, those breakthrough years. During my years at Stanford, we'd gone to the College World Series, but hadn't won one. In '87, we were able to win. When you get those breakthrough years, they're not easy, and sometimes you got to break down the door. You just can't walk through, and so we knew it was going to be difficult. We had to embrace it, and it was every bit as difficult as we thought it was going to be because Fresno State gave us everything we could handle. But just really proud of them because they were able to accomplish that for each other, and we're, again, just excited to be here.
We'll go to Tyler, front left of Coach.
2 questions. You said Brandon's getting to start Saturday. Does that mean Eric goes on Sunday?
Yeah, I think as of right now, we feel we're going to go with Eric Miller on Sunday and keep him on, and then we'll play the if necessary game if we get to that point.
And then you guys sort of talked about it a little bit, but how much does the rain throw a wrench in the schedule today? What was it like having to go hit balls inside instead of getting a feel for Duty Noble?
At this point in the season, we're to the point we're just trying to keep our guys moving around and get them ready for competition. It won't adversely affect us, and it won't be a factor in the game at all. You just got to keep them doing what they've been doing throughout the season. And we had rain in California a bunch this spring, so hitting in the cages and getting ready for a series by not being on the field, that's happened before. So I think they got out to the field a little bit, caught some ground balls, ran around the outfield some, and so I don't think they'll be not used to the playing surface.
We'll go back to the middle and Steve.
Coach, your initial impressions of Mississippi State so far?
Well, they belong here, right? And that pitching rotation they've had with Small and Ginn. You got a first rounder at the top of your rotation, a former first rounder picked out of high school, backing him up, and just quality hitters up and down the lineup. You know, you got the all-time SEC hit leader leading off. They've got a lot of weapons, and you got to play a complete ball game to beat them, and maybe even complete plus if you're going to beat them at home, right? So you've got a lot of things you've got to play very well, and you've got to bring a team that's capable of handling a hostile environment and playing a great baseball game. So I'm anxious to see what our guys have. Sometimes as a coach, you're really anxious to see how your team plays. You know, you really probably can't do a whole lot to change the outcome. You prepare them, and then you kind of sit back and you want to see how they react to the actual competition.
We'll go back to the cameras and Tom in the white shirt.
Coach, a lot is made about, East Coast, West Coast ball when it comes to baseball, but for some of the teams that you've played maybe in the Pac-12, is there one that maybe reminds you a little bit of Mississippi State? Is there any kind of comparison?
Yeah, UCLA is pretty close, right? You have a team that's real offensive. They can hit the ball out of the park. Arizona State had a really good offensive team, and their park is real conducive to power. But I think Mississippi State's got a pretty well-balanced lineup. They got some guys who they're some base hitters. They're not just reliant on power and getting the ball up in the air. I think they got some guys that can move around the field. They can start the runners, and then they pitch so well they keep the score down enough that they just need to offense some, and they're going to win the ball game.
We'll go directly in front of Coach with Ben.
Coach, you mentioned Arizona State. I know you guys played them late in the season. You got a couple of really big crowds there. I mean, how much does that help simulate what you all might see them this weekend?
Yeah, I think you can get a little bit of help, but probably not all the way there with the crowds maybe on the West Coast. But it's going to be exciting for our guys, and sometimes that adrenaline boost, it'll lead you to some, performance that you didn't know you had in you. So I think we're aware of that. Oregon State has a really good crowd as well, and they root really hard for their team, and it may be amplified some, and I'm anxious to see how our team will handle it. We try to keep them as loose as possible. We've got a loose bunch. If anything, it's going to help them. They're not too high-strung, and so if they can keep their poise and calmness in an adverse environment, that'll speak well to getting them close enough to play to their potential.
Any other questions for Coach? We have time for a couple more if you have them. All right. Thank you, Coach. Okay.